The tears wouldn't stop falling that rainy Tuesday in Lahore. I stood beside Karan's coffin, my dupatta soaked, my hands trembling as I touched his cold cheek one last time. 14 years of marriage, 2 children who still called out for their father in their sleep, and a life I had poured my entire soul into, gone in a single heartbeat. The doctors said it was sudden, a massive heart attack at the office. I had rushed there, holding my son's and daughter's small hands, praying for a miracle that never came. I was shattered, completely broken. Karan had been my world, the man I left my teaching job for, the man I supported through every failed business deal, the man whose dreams I carried on my shoulders while raising our children and keeping our beautiful villa spotless. People used to say I was the perfect wife, quiet, devoted, always smiling, even when I was exhausted, and I believed our love was forever. The funeral was crowded with relatives, business partners, and neighbors who whispered how tragic it was. I sat on the floor near the grave, my children pressed against me, their little bodies shaking with sobs. The cool ended, the final prayers faded, and everyone waited for the family to speak. That night, after the last guest left and the children finally cried themselves to sleep, I sat alone in our bedroom, surrounded by Karan's clothes still hanging in the closet. The pain was unbearable. I kept replaying his father's words, feeling exposed, worthless, like everything I had given for 14 years had been erased in one announcement. 6 months earlier, I had discovered the truth that had quietly broken me long before the funeral. I had found the messages on Karan's phone, late-night texts, secret meetings, promises to a younger woman from his office. When I confronted him, he fell to his knees, tears in his eyes. "It was a mistake, Priya. I love you and the kids. I'll end it tomorrow." I wanted to believe him. I stayed. I forgave. I told myself our family was bigger than one betrayal, but deep down, I knew the damage was done. Later, I learned the full story. Karan had confided everything to his father. Together, they had started changing documents, rewriting the will, making sure that if anything ever happened to him, I would be left with nothing. His father had never liked me. He saw me as temporary, someone who could be replaced by a more suitable daughter-in-law. Karan had even begun talking about family legacy and bloodline in the months before he died. I felt so foolish, so destroyed. All those nights I had cooked his favorite meals, helped him with business ideas, sacrificed my own career, it had all been built on a lie. After the funeral, the grief turned into something heavier. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I would stand at the window at 3 a.m., staring at the garden I had planted with my own hands, wondering how the man I loved could plan to throw me and our children out like strangers. The betrayal felt like a knife, twisting slowly in my chest. 2 days after the funeral, the family gathered again at the house for the official reading of the will. Karan's father stood at the head of the long dining table, papers in hand, surrounded by his smug relatives. I walked in last, dressed simply in a plain black shalwar kameez, my children holding my hands. They expected me to cry or argue. Instead, I stood tall. When he finished reading the part about the property reverting to the family, I stepped forward. My voice was soft but steady, the way it used to be when I calmed Karan during his business crises. "Papa," I said, looking him straight in the eyes, "thank you for sharing the family's decision, but before everyone leaves, there's something Karan wanted you all to hear." I took out my phone and played the short video Karan had recorded 2 months earlier, right after we had talked through his mistake. In it, pale and emotional, he looked into the camera and said, "Priya, if anything ever happens to me, the house, the business, everything belongs to you and the children. You've carried us for years. I'm sorry for the pain I caused. This is my final wish." The video was dated, notarized, and witnessed. Gasps filled the room. Karan's father turned white. His mother's hands flew to her mouth. I continued calmly, and here are the original transfer documents and the financial records showing my contributions from my father's inheritance. My lawyer has already filed everything. My friend stepped forward with a thick folder of evidence. The room erupted in whispers.